There you go.
Hi again. Oh, it did it again. I don't know why. Every time it disconnects the headphones.
Well,
Here we are.
let me tell you that those headphones look awesome. So,
Thank you.
First episode of the year. It is so cool to have such talented, amazing. I can go all day, as I said before. Badass person as you here. I mean, as I said, this is the first episode of the year, and what better way to start with someone as you, right?
Thanks, Dan. I really appreciate your kind words and you asking me on your show.
Yeah, and what can I say? I mean, it is super epic, and as I said before, it's amazing. It's amazing. I love doing this, and
thanks so much. Yeah, I'm grateful.
And I'm super excited. So let's get started. So welcome to the show. It is so amazing to have you here. Now, before we start, I have to give you a proper welcome. So if you have seen some of my episodes before, you know exactly what I'm about to do. It's kind of a tradition now here. So let me show you. There you go.
Thank you.
Love it.
Thank you.
Love it. You know, at some point we're gonna have live audience. I'm still working on it. We're gonna have like live audience.
So fun.
So,
amazing.
Starting with everything here, tell me how your singing, acting, and dancing career started.
So it started when I was very young. I've always had an interest in musicals and theater, and I always loved movie magic. And when I was in 4th grade, I got to be in a musical at a local high school. And then after the musical ended, I really didn't want the experience to be over. And I remember, a lot of kids tried out for the part I got, and I thought everyone should get to do this. It was so fun. So I choreographed a musical to Sandra Boynton's book, Philadelphia Chickens. And then my mom helped me organize everything, and we put on a musical in my backyard. And I've never stopped.
That is amazing. That is amazing. And it is so interesting that either with music or acting, though, or like whatever, that it just takes like 1 second to just be like, to everything suddenly click and be like, I want to do this for the rest of my life. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Every time I'm part of a production, getting to work with other artists feels like home. So I definitely understand that.
Totally. Wow. Now, a little bit of a background here. So you attend Kettering Fairmont High School from 2011 to 2015, where you were a member of the award-winning cappella group 11th Hour. That's badass. Who opened for the Pentatonics at James S. Trent Arena in 2013. You earned a local award for your role as Jingy and the Sugar Plum Fair in Kettering Fairmont's production of Shrek the Musical. That's really cool.
Oh, my family and I were actually just talking about that last night. We can't remember whether I got the award as Gingy in Shrek or as Smitty in How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. So we can't figure out which one it was, but one of the two, they had local high school musical awards.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it.
Thanks.
Now, I'm thinking in the comments, Dan, can you send a greeting to my awesome squad, the Paw Patrols? For sure. A huge shout out to this awesome squad, the Paw Patrols. The name is even more epic, so huge shout out to you guys. So basically at the age of 9, you haven't stopped performing, right? So you're best known for your debut album, Undergrad. So let's talk about that and tell me like where the inspiration to create that album came from.
Sure. So the songs on that album were written over a very wide spread of time. Someday dates back to high school. I produced that on GarageBand myself and then put it out on SoundCloud. Distances was probably the song that sparked the album, though, because I wrote that my second year of college after returning from a trip in France, and I dated a guy for 4 months, and we went through a breakup, and I wrote this really dramatic song that ended up getting me my record deal. And so Distances kind of set the tone for the album, and the rest of it was really just inspired by what happened to me in college and my perspective on my own growth as I went through my young adulthood. Yeah.
Okay. I love it. Now, I think all the songs are amazing. I mean, I love them. I basically listen like all of them. But like, tell me, like, what are some of your favorite ones?
So some of my favorites, and thank you for saying that. You're so kind. I appreciate the support. Oh my gosh, everyone's on here. Rena Rora's on here. Tyler's on here. Thanks so much, everyone. Some of my favorite songs on Undergrad would be "I'm the One." I remember when Peanut, Ronald Frost is the Grammy-nominated producer who worked on that, and he sent it to me. I was in New York, and I remember walking around all day just listening to it, being like, oh my gosh, like, this is such a bop. Like, I didn't even know it could sound this good.
Yeah.
Just really being amazed at his work with it. And then also, the song Someday is amazing to me because, like I said, I wrote it in high school. And lyrically, it's talking about, you know, I'm going to keep this positive mindset because things are going to get better, and I'm going to keep doing what I need to put myself in a good spot. And the song keeps manifesting itself, you know, like I got to do it in an even better version with producers who are professionals and adults with families and who believed in me, and it really helped me believe in myself. And then I got to make a music video for that song with the little girl I nanny and with another woman who's an artist, and her name's Katora Tatum. She runs Kadash Aroma's candle company, and she's fantastic, and she's been a huge believer in me and terrific friend. So having them be in the music video for a song that's talking about how my life is going to keep getting better just felt like a dream come true. It was like, oh, this little girl who I see myself in, you know, the girl I nanny, wants to be a singer and performer. And then a really good friend who helped me get to this point. It felt so poetic to have them included in the video. So that song's really special. One more that I really love. It's called In My Own World, and Dre Manuel produced that one, Andre, and it features Jeremiah Lewis, who's a Dayton local artist, and I just felt super honored that like someone who's so popular in the area would want to be on my song. And then I got to sing it in Columbus, and it was like so cool to hear people out in a club listening to Dayton local artists, and I just felt so proud.
Oh yeah, that is so cool. And you know, it is so interesting, especially with music, that basically you can especially with music, the fact that you can get inspired and create something beautiful for a moment that maybe that wasn't that beautiful, you know what I mean? Or maybe that at that moment it wasn't that cool for you, but you managed to create something that for people, whenever they hear it, they can either relate to, or they like it, or they get inspired as well. You know what? That is one of the things that I do like about music, the lyrics specifically. You know, what are the what can you relate to? You know what I mean?
Right, definitely. That was why Distances spoke to Peanut originally. He felt like, you know, a lot of people have been through heartbreaks. A lot of people feel like they had a relationship that could have worked out had like one part been different, or you would have lived in the same city or something. And relatability is so important. So music helps us communicate.
I love it. And which song took you the most to develop?
Distances. Yeah, like I was saying, I said relatability is the most important, and I guess it's not the most important. I just felt it can be important in the human experience. And so Distances took a really long time because Peanut really pulled a vulnerability out of me and my voice with that song, and we worked a lot on opening up and what the song meant to me. For that recording, we actually stayed in a barn in Ohio somewhere. A woman named Paula owned it, and it had this recording studio out in the barn. And we spent like all night doing multiple takes, and finally there was one take where I cried, and that's the one he used for the song.
Wow.
So, yeah, a lot went into that. We had a lot of good conversations, getting to know each other, and it really set the foundation for our professional relationship and how we built the album.
Okay, okay. And then Enzyme came. So tell me also about that album and how long it took you to make it after undergrad.
Yeah, so it took a little while. Like I said, undergrad is kind of about my college experience. So I was still in college, and I graduated in May of 2020. And it, I had a lot going on. It was a very busy time for me. I was doing movies for the first time. I was finishing my degree. I had a social life. I was in organizations. And then, when school ended and I was at home in a pandemic, I was what am I doing? I want to be making music and sharing music still. So I had some songs I had worked on in the meantime with Dre, and we pulled a collection and put Enzyme together.
Okay. Now also the same thing here. All of the songs are amazing, but one of them got my attention, which was Hollyweird. So tell me how you came up with the idea to create that song and the lyrics as well.
Sure. So I got the idea for the song Hollyweird when I arrived on set to make the movie Moondance. I was sitting with friends at dinner and we were just talking about pop culture things, and I just was thinking about different stars I knew. For example, specifically, like I had heard that Avicii, before he passed, had told people that he didn't want to go on his last tour, that he was tired or not feeling up to it. And that really stuck with me, that somebody verbally said, hey, I don't want this, and then kind of just went into it. And it's so sad. It's really too bad. And I was thinking about other people I know that are mentioned in the media all the time, and you find out things they feel that are not discussed regularly. And it's like, man, I really would hope that people feel good about themselves. And I felt inspired to write Hollyweird because there's a lot of personas and a lot of tailored images presented to us. And when we understand that everyone's people, and we look at the partying and we recognize the crazy highs as kind of like self-medication, and we see what's really going on and we take care of each other, we can have happy stories. And I ended up getting asked to play Troy in Eviscerate Me. I auditioned and got the role, and that movie I play a content creator who goes off the deep end. So I felt inspired to release Hollyweird on Enzyme after I got this role, because it was really validating about like, okay, this is a story that is being repeated. Multiple people are following this path of really struggling with, the intense amount of time we spend online, the intense spectatorship. And so I released Hollyweird on Enzyme as a sort of foreshadowing for my role in Eviscerate Me, and also to just, I guess, remind myself like, okay, we can take care of each other. It's kind of a satirical song almost.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I can tell that. But it is so interesting, right? That like, especially like in Hollywood and everything, that sometimes, I mean, we do have heard before that actors or even like musicians or something, that they just don't want to do it anymore, and they keep pushing them to do it, and you can tell that they just feel that they don't want it anymore. You can tell by their expressions, by their gestures and everything, that they're just being forced to do this. And at the same time, I understand that yeah, it's a job, and they need, and yeah, sometimes you need the money, and that's fine. But yeah, I do believe that sometimes that we, the audience, we sometimes forget that that musicians and actors, I mean, you guys are humans too, you know, and that regardless of the songs you will create or the movies you have been to, you deserve time too to just kind of get away from everything, kind of regroup and maybe assemble something new, or just to be out for a while so you can come up fresh. Because I do believe that if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over for a couple of years, at some point it's gonna get frustrating, or it's gonna lose like that essence that make you want to do it in the first place, you know.
Definitely, like in any career path, just maintaining balance in your life so that you can, you know, have room, like you said, to develop new ideas or to take care of yourself or your family, or enjoy just being a person, you know.
Yeah.
That's life, right? So like you said, it is a job, and making music doesn't have to be the job, but like touring is intense, and any form of labor that you're doing repeatedly, like you said, for years and years, can become exhausting. And it's great that we're using tools like social media to increase transparency and communicate, you know, feelings and emotions about what's happening. And like, especially with a pandemic going on, like just maintaining space for mental health care, and like when people are feeling run down.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and like, especially during like the whole pandemic, I mean, that frustration that you were locked. I mean, even though that you were locked in your house, which is really cool. But then at some point you need to get distracted with something else, you know, like go out for a little bit to so you can get new ideas. So, or like I was reading that there were like kind of techniques to do in the pandemic, for example, that for every time you will feel stressed, try to move things, you know, try to put, like, for example, in your room, put your bed into other place, like move the furniture here and there to make it new somehow, you know, like to stimulate your mind to be like, okay, this is a new setup, that's cool. But yeah, it is so cool actually that during like this whole crazy times, social media has also been more transparent with basically everything here, you know, especially with mental health, as you just mentioned. So
yeah, I'm glad that we're talking about that in this chat.
Absolutely, that's what we're all about here. We just talk, that's what we're all about here. And so last year, you created your own first self-produced single called Spaghetti and Wine. Tell me, like, how you came up with the title and the song.
Sure. So for this song, as you said, it's one of my first that I produced entirely by myself, and I mixed and mastered it by myself. So that was very new for me. And the title and the lyrics came after the beat. So this was when I actually made the beat on GarageBand, and then later moved it to Logic, learned more about Logic from Dre and Peanut, and tailored the vocals a lot. Then the title came at the end, because when I write music, a lot of times I'm like picturing some sort of scenario in my mind. And in this song, I'm dancing in the kitchen, wearing socks and making pasta and having fun and listening to music. And it's like a dinner party at home by myself or with two. And so it was just spaghetti and wine, you know, that's what the song's about. You know, you make a pot of pasta, it's really easy. You pour a bottle of wine, you just have a good time by yourself or with a friend, and it's an easy party.
I love it. I love it.
It was just simple and fun, to the point. Just wanted to try doing it on my own, and I had worked on that beat for a while, and it just developed slowly over time, and finally I felt like it was groovy and ready to share.
Okay. Now let me tell you that it was amazing what you did. I mean, if someone would ask me what do I think about that song, I would only say this.
Thanks, Dan.
Simple as that. I love it. And then in July of last year came In Flight. So tell me, I mean, the song, I mean, basically all the songs that you do are amazing. I love each and every one of them. But but tell me like a little bit more about that song. And I noticed also that that song, the genre and the beat, it's kind of a little bit different from the ones that you had before.
Yeah, so I do really enjoy electronic music, and I
Okay.
couldn't put as much out just because uh, the people I was working with were R&B and pop producers, and
Mm.
the songs I was writing weren't electronic songs, In Flight was another one like Spaghetti and Wine where I made the beat and then wrote the song afterward. So I had crafted the beat. I think this was another one I did it on GarageBand and then later transferred over to Logic. So like I've been trying to make beats and messing around with it for a long time, and then just recently have felt comfortable putting out my work and calling myself a producer. But In Flight was actually ready when we were releasing Undergrad, and then we just decided, like you said, it didn't quite have the same sound. So we held off, and later, I shared with Dre, like, I really do enjoy electronic music. I like writing all different kinds. I don't mind having a very diverse genre of music under my name. So we decided to release that, and he said I could put it out under my independent label, which is really exciting. He's been super supportive. Yeah, it's been so cool. Everyone in the Dayton music community is so supportive of independent artists and artist growth. I couldn't be luckier. So anyway, yeah, In Flight, I think I wrote the lyrics on the plane like later, but the beat was really fun to make, and it was a song that was just waiting to come out, and we put it out.
I love it. I love it. And same thing here. If someone would ask me what do I think about that song,
thank you.
But yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it a lot. And yeah, it got my attention that basically it was that the beat, that everything, it was a little bit more electronic, which is cool. I mean, I do love it too. I'm also I'm a DJ as well, so I do love mixing, and it's basically more as like my own thing, you know. I mean, I do love to perform, but since it's been a while that I don't perform, it's more like like whenever I feel stressed or whenever I feel I feel something, I just go to turntables and create a mixtape or create like a 1 hour session or two and be like, okay, I'm done. But
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. And as I mentioned here, I mean, what I do love about your music is the fact that we have so many things. You know, I mean, we don't have like one specific genre here. I mean, we have plenty, and at the same time, you know, those plenty, we have like every song is something different. You know, that for example, sometimes for some artists or for some musicians, the songs can get repetitive at some point. But with yours, the thing that I like is that every new song is fresh. You know, it's like I'm listening it something totally out of nowhere, and that is something that I do appreciate. So,
thank you. Yeah, I definitely have fun exploring.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite parts of making music is just seeing what happens when you collaborate and when you try things. Like, I guess going back to an earlier point, one of my favorite songs is I'm the One, because I was just so in awe of what Peanut had done with what I gave him, and like it was nothing like what I imagined in my head originally, yet it was a million times better. Like it's not disappointing, it's always exciting and fresh, like you mentioned.
Love it. I love it. And how would you describe your music?
I would say it is alive. I very much like to be in the moment with it, and like I mean, obviously I haven't watched my sets live. I watched my live sets recorded later. But you know, I've had people say they didn't even recognize the song I did because it's so different from what is on the album, and I like that because, you know, then the experience you had live is once in a lifetime. It's never going to sound that way for someone else later. I mean, obviously, if I'm doing a tour, I'm going to perform and set a certain way. It's going to be consistently. But for pop-up shows and for casual acoustic sets, it's so fun to just feel the music, live in the song, see what it can be alive. Yeah.
I love it.
Thanks.
I love that. That's amazing. And like, what aspect? I mean, like, what do you like the most? I mean, like your number one thing when you were on the making to create something.
Oh. What do I like most about creating music is probably like we just said, you know, seeing what happens and allowing myself to be surprised by myself and allowing myself to be surprised by other people. And it's so beautiful after I've made a song to later hear how it did touch someone, you know, like I do feel relatability is a beautiful part of the human experience. I don't think it's essential. I don't necessarily think it's the goal. I do think when you have it, it's really magical and it's really special.
Totally. I love that. And if you could describe your career at the moment, of course, but on a movie, TV show, book, or play, why not? What would be the title of it?
So I did love this question. I love it so much. Oh man, I've been thinking about what I would call my life. I feel like I've been asked this, and I'm so glad you're asking me because, you know, now that I've been thinking about it, I do feel like I have a good title. I would call it How to Live a Life, because right now I've been working a lot on what I want my day-to-day to look like, what are my goals in my life, how do I get there, how do you live in line with your values, you know, like I love making music and art. I want my music and art to represent what I care about and to help create a better future for everyone, you know?
Yeah, okay. I like that. Fair enough. And if you could describe your career as well, but now on a drink, which one would you choose?
Yeah, I think, oh man, if my career could be a drink, it would probably be some sort of single source, like fair trade, pour over homemade coffee. Okay. I feel like that I've been so spoiled by being a part of the Dayton community and now by extension the Columbus community, because I stayed there after graduating from Ohio State. I just feel so lucky because everyone there has put so much time and so many resources into my music and art, and I'm really lucky, you know, like I feel like I still talk to people I knew in 4th grade. Like I talk to the people who were in that musical that I did in my backyard. Yeah. Like the producers I'm working with worked with me because they believe in me and they like my music. And I get to work with other artists in my community now because those people gave me a platform. And it's like, I want to give credit where it's due. I'm so grateful for where I came from and everyone who's been part of the process, and I feel like it's very open and it's like grassroots, you know. I feel like I'm not from Dayton originally. I was actually born in Michigan and moved military. My dad is Air Force, but I feel like I'm Dayton, born and raised essentially now. Like I just feel so supported and loved by that community.
Yeah. I love it.
Thanks.
And like my last question here is, like, what motivates you? I mean, we all have those days in which we just don't want to do it anymore. You know, in which we feel that we are, that we are a failure. You know, that we are not in the place that we would like to be. That we just want to quit everything. That we will compare our careers with somebody else we knew and be like, you know, like what the fuck? You know, like all of that stuff. Like, what make you yeah, like what made you out of it? This, yeah, like out of this toxic bubble, let's say, and to continue doing what you do.
Yeah, I am motivated by a better future that starts right now, and I will never forget watching this documentary about social media and kind of like the topic of Hollyweird, the toxic bubble you're mentioning.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know the comedian and the Fat Jewish. Do you know them?
Mm-mm.
They're fantastic, and their piece, their sentiment in this documentary was essentially there's always going to be someone better and there's always going to be someone next, and you are the only person who is exactly you with your perspective and resources in this. So it's like, enjoy who you are, enjoy what you're doing, because another person that I really admire is Abby Vasulis. I got to be in an organization with her in college, and she's a journalist. She's fantastic. And she has in her Instagram bio, comparison is the thief of joy, or she used to have it. I don't know if it's still there, but I just think that's such a great quote. Comparison is the thief of joy. Like, focus on yourself and your goals and what you can do to make your space and yourself better. Mahatma Gandhi says, be the change you want to see in the world. That type of mission, that really motivates me. Because if I'm constantly thinking about what other people are doing or how I could be like other people in the sense of like their projects, or like, is my art good enough? Like I'm always going to be stuck, as opposed to flowing and moving and appreciating, the appreciation mindset. I'm grateful to work with other people. I'm grateful when, I get noticed by you and I get to share a platform with tons of other successful artists and creators. And like, you've even had doctors on your show. Like, you're doing so many cool things.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, and we're expanding. I mean, we have a lot of epic stuff coming in for this year. I mean, we do have episodes with doctors. We're gonna have episodes with athletes. We're gonna have a new thing called Get Fit with Dan. Get Fit with Dan, in which basically I'm gonna be interviewing, interviewing athletes, and I will be challenging them in their turf. You know what I mean? For example, a basketball player, I'm gonna challenge them for a one-on-one, or a volleyball player, soccer, stuff like that, and asking them questions, of course. There's a lot of stuff coming soon. So
that is so exciting. I can't wait to see what's up next.
Yeah, and I mean, what can I say here? I mean, it is epic what you do. It is amazing what you do. I mean, I can't wait to see more of it, and I'm super sure that eventually everybody's gonna know more about your music here. I mean, you can be sure that where I am right now, I'm gonna make sure that a lot of people listen to it, because it is cool, it is fresh, it is unique, and that is one of the things that I do appreciate the most for an artist. The uniqueness, like they are themselves. They're putting like themselves into a song, and that is really cool. Instead of the wave that we sometimes have of the same thing over and over and over and over, the fact that you're putting emotions and feelings, that is really cool. And as I said, I can't wait to see more of it, and I'm super sure that eventually you're gonna basically be rocking everywhere. I mean, Coachella, of course, like all of these type of festivals. I'm super sure that's gonna happen, because as I've said some of my previous episodes, I do believe that when you are honest with what you do and you're honest by heart, good things happen eventually. And there is I mean, of course, it is a journey in which there's gonna be ups and downs, but I do believe that you need those downs in order to enjoy the ups.
Oh, that is so beautiful. Yeah, one of my favorite people always says, the dark and hard times do help you appreciate the good, because you know just how good it is.
Totally. Yes. And so, yeah, I mean, I want to thank you so much for being here, and also want to thank those who are watching. I mean, if you're watching this right now, thank you so much. Or if you're watching it later through here on Instagram, or later on YouTube, or listening it on Spotify or Apple Music, make sure that you're following this talented, super rockstar, amazing, badass person that I'm interviewing right now. I mean, go follow Libby right now. Normally, what I would say is super simple. So you're gonna put pause, then you're gonna, leave a like, subscribe, follow me. It will help me a lot. I will basically love you for that. Then, since we're still on holidays, who cares about being healthy? So go eat a cookie or 2 or 3 or 5 out of the whole box, and then once you're full and you can't move, then you're gonna grab your phone and then you're gonna make sure that you're you're following Libby in all over social media, that you're leaving like a lot of likes, a lot of shares. I mean, let's make sure everybody knows about her right now, and then come back. And again, thank you so much for being here. As I said, it is a perfect start to start. Yeah, it's a perfect start for this year. Epic start for today. I mean, it is basically, what better way to start the year with someone as talented as you. So before I let you go, I need to send you off properly. So
I don't have the sound effects ready.
Then yeah, keep killing it, keep being awesome, and I'll see you in the next one.
Okay, bye Dan. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thanks everyone.